All right, Nick, you're good.
All right, I'd like to call to order the May 16th meeting of the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Commission. Matt, you have roll?
I do.
All right, first item on the agenda, approval of the April 18th minutes. Do I have a motion to accept the minutes?
So moved.
Do we have a second? Sue, I think you're muted there.
Can I second?
Yep, as we have a second, any discussion, changes, anything to the minutes or the motion? All right, all those in favor of accepting the minutes as written, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, the minutes are accepted. On to new business. Okay. Memorandum of agreements with Accessibility Wisconsin. All right, so it looks like we have there's changing of hosts going on right now, it looks like a little bit. All right, so partnership with the outdoor wheelchair at Orchid Heights.
Nick, I apologize. I had an internet issue and
Okay.
not sure what happened, but I got booted out of the meeting.
Okay.
I know that David made the motion. Who made the second?
That was Sue, wasn't it?
Oh, for the minutes, yeah.
Yeah.
And Matt, just to FYI, Dan Ramsey, who is our new Alder representative, he just texted me saying he cannot get into the meeting.
I think Matt's frozen actually.
Oh, okay.
So I will try forwarding Dan the email.
Okay. Is Matt back in?
Anybody having sound trouble?
Couldn't catch that, Jim. Hey,
All right, we
I
all in?
apologize. I'm having internet issues and keep getting booted out of Zoom.
Okay.
Okay, so Dan, you said we're sending.
Oh,
to take
Dan's
down.
in. Dan
Dan's
looks
in.
like he's in with his iPhone, yeah. Okay. All right, on to agenda item number 2. So Matt, did you get that Dave made the motion to accept the minutes and Sue seconded?
Did now. And then
Okay.
the approval was unanimous.
Yes, it was. All right, on to item number 2, memorandum of agreement with Accessibility Wisconsin.
So I think most of you are familiar. We have a storage shed at Orchid Heights Park where I just want to pause a minute. I know George can hear me. George, I'm not sure where it says Wednesday anywhere. If you could go on mic and explain, because the agenda that's posted says May 16th. Okay.
Hi there.
I think where he may be getting Wednesday is when I tried to go on my computer and sign in, it said that the meeting for April 18th. So maybe he saw the 18th on it. Then I can't get in on my computer. I'm on with my telephone.
I actually had 2 different meeting IDs. I had one that I had printed off a couple days ago, and then I got a different one tonight.
yeah, I'm on the agenda here, and it says May 16th here.
Yeah, my
But-
agenda that I printed off a couple days ago did say May 16th. And I had trouble signing in with the ID that I had gotten on that email. And tonight I had a different email that said, join meeting, and I noticed it had a different ID and password. And then it worked.
The joys of trying to do business remotely.
Yep.
This will be an agenda item at the next meeting, because when we last talked about this, you wanted to wait until the next committee was established before deciding protocols for meetings moving forward. So,
Okay. I think we're all settled in now, so off on to item number 2.
all right. So the memorandum with AAW, as I was explaining, we have a storage shed at Orchid Heights Park. We were their first kind of public government cooperation site where they placed one of the wheelchairs that they've secured through grant writing. We've reserved it under our reservation system. It was minimally used up until COVID, and it's been really minimally used during COVID. Their organization has a lot of partnerships with hunting groups, and so a majority of their outdoor wheelchair use is groups that will take a chair on a hunting trip. So our use has 100% been people who want to get out and you see the conservancy. The updated memorandum of agreement changes a number of things, and I'm recommending that PRFC reject the memorandum. I've talked through this with AAW, and we've kind of come to a consensus that the chair can be better used in other locations, and that some of the requirements that they're now making as they've expanded their program for a host site really doesn't fit our use and operation. One of them being they want a trailer with the chair. And we had a trailer for one night at Orchid Heights Park, and it was vandalized. And for that very reason, I'm not comfortable with them placing another trailer at the location, and they agree. I just think it's their use in other sites doesn't quite match ours. What I am committed to is continuing a partnership with AAW, and that when we have events, they have agreed to bring chairs and allow us to showcase them and help them get the word out about the things they do. If someone wanted to reserve one of their chairs and come to the Pheasant Branch, they'd still be able to do so. It just might not be as convenient as it currently is. But again, I think this is a underutilized resource that if they were able to have at another location could be a greater asset for their organization.
So
Okay.
Matt, oh, sorry. Are
No, go
you
ahead.
saying that they can get, but have to come to a certain location to get it?
What
It
they
wouldn't
do
be-
at their what they do with their other reservations is they arrange time for volunteers to meet them, and whoever's reserving the chair picks that up and takes it by a trailer to the location that they are going to utilize it. So the one challenge is you'd have to have a ball hitch on your vehicle to be able to take the trailer, but then you're free to take it. And most of their reservations, again, most of our reservations, all of our reservations were for 2 to 3 hours. Their typical reservation is for a week, where you pick up the chair and take it on a trip with you, or take it to a camping trip or a hunting trip, and you have it for a week's time. So that is their kind of standard reservation.
Okay.
Okay, other questions or thoughts?
I know the first concern is going to be, what do we do with the shed? Rebecca's staff is in line for who gets to use it for program storage, which we never have enough of, and specifically at Orchid Heights, where we we offer a fair amount of recreation programming that we'll be able to utilize that to store needed recreational equipment.
All right.
It just sounds like,
Well,
the two organizations aren't really aligned as well as they might be. It's unfortunate, but yeah, from what you're saying, their normal uses doesn't really coincide with our stuff. And I think you're probably on the right path to have this turned down, and we can certainly use the shed for other purposes.
Mhm.
They're a great organization that do tremendous work, and I just think because of our partnership on this, it was worth trying, but the chair can be greater utilized other places.
Absolutely.
I'm really sorry that it's not working out. Because I do know several people who've used it and they just thought it was great. So I hope that maybe in the future, we could try something again.
Mhm.
I mean, our other option would be is if there's a strong sense that we want to try and continue to do this, there's nothing stopping the city from trying to procure its own outdoor wheelchair and have available at Ordinance and use it however we see fit. I just think we're tying up an asset of AAW that isn't getting used to the extent that it could be in another format.
Right.
And do they agree with that?
They do.
Oh,
So you're looking for a motion to decline the memorandum of of agreement?
Yes.
I'll make that motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Do we have a second?
I'll second it. Oh,
Okay, we have a second. Any discussion on the motion?
So second, was that Joan?
It was Sue.
Joan and Sue, so
Okay,
take either one.
pick one.
all right. Hearing no further discussion, all those in favor of accepting the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, agenda item number 3, approval of facility reservation refund policy.
So this is coming back before you. It's staff's recommendation that we ask you to just review and comment and potentially approve this version of our facility use policies. We intend to bring the full facility use policy back when we can align it with a potential software update later this year.
I'm good with this, Matt, except I do have one request for an edit, which is the second sentence. Instead of saying the cancellation request, say the refund request must be received,
Oh, yeah.
or notice of cancellation, but they're going to cancel it. So that's really, they're canceling it. They're not requesting to cancel it. They're requesting to get a refund. So I
Mhm.
think it would be best if it just said refund request. Like
And
it does.
we can make that edit.
But otherwise, I'm good on it.
I've read it. I think it's very fair. I would move to accept it.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. So any discussion on the motion? All right, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion to accept the policy, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, on to number 4, direction related to estimate received from Tingle's graphic design.
So I'll try and explain this maybe visually the best I can. We recently got new shirts and we have this like block lettering Parks and Recreation under the logo. And every time we print shirts, the Parks and Recreation is different. And from a branding standpoint, because we're using different vendors, because it's just how it goes, it would be great to develop something consistent. We're not talking about developing a new logo. As you can see, the estimate gives us some tools, gives us some guidelines, and gives us a reusable logo in multiple formats. This is it's probably something I can approve under my own spending authority, but thought before doing so, it'd be good to get the blessing of PRFC and have some discussion about this. I know that this is a frequent topic, and it's something that government tends to struggle with, but if you were running a private business, this would be a no-brainer. And in a lot of ways, our recreation entity, the pool, those areas need to operate with a more business-like mindset. And so image, branding, consistency become really important. So I think most of you are aware we currently have interns that do a lot of our social media, and this will give them some additional resources, but also create kind of a template for when they move on. And I know Rebecca's been fortunate to keep them employed, but I'm not sure how much longer that can continue as they enter their own professional careers, that we'd be creating something that then could be reusable as new staff come on board and are doing that work. So.
I think you're right that if this was a business, that'd be a no-brainer, and I think this makes a lot of sense. So yeah, I'm definitely in favor of it.
Okay, any other thoughts?
It makes sense to me. I'm in favor
Yeah.
of it also.
I'll go ahead and make it. I'm sorry.
I just said me too.
So I'll make a motion to approve the spending of the estimate here, the agreement for 925.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second it.
Okay, Joan seconds. All right, any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And motion carries. All right, on to number 5. An ordinance to create a neighborhood park zoning district.
So you'll remember this has come up on a number of topics where our parks are currently zoned residential. And in multiple discussions, there's been a interest in trying to create a park zoning. Why we're doing the neighborhood parks is it's a workload issue. First of all, it was the easier ordinance or easier edits to make or to come up with an ordinance. The second is when this is approved and moves forward, yellow zoning signs will be placed in each of the impacted parks, and there's only so many signs. So it's trying to break up the workload a little bit for both planning and park staff as we move forward with this, but we will be bringing the community park zoning and whatever planning comes up with for a term for the mini park zoning and special use areas and kind of a catch-all for those other kind of park areas so that we have those properties zoned into park zoning.
So Matt, when you're talking about the setbacks for the park, would that be for like shelters, or what all would be included in the setbacks?
That's a really good question that I would defer to our planning staff and zoning staff that deal with setbacks a whole lot more than I do.
Where's Opitz when you need them?
That's the guy I was thinking of, but it is a good question in terms of what that, because obviously there are parks where trails are going to be on the perimeter or edge of the parks, and wanting to make sure that we're not, violating any of our own setbacks there. So
yeah. I just didn't want to box ourselves in, but I guess, if it becomes a problem, we can probably change things again, but that's the only concern I had on this.
Okay. And I will share that with planning staff and try and get a response to, well, I know I'll get a response on what that all entails.
Is this just more of a information for us, Matt?
Well, Dan may have more thoughts on what Plan Commission would want to know from parks. I think bringing it here is trying to avoid a referral to parks from plan commissions so that it can move forward. Whether they need there's no objections to this, or they want a full, it might not hurt to have a full endorsement that Parks supports the zoning change.
Okay.
I would appreciate if we just made a motion stating that the Parks endorses it, yes.
Okay.
Well, let's assume that the setbacks aren't going to be an issue, and if they are, that can be brought back. Okay, in that case, I'll make a motion to approve.
Okay, David makes a motion. We have a second.
I'll second.
Okay, Sue seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? And motion carries. Okay, under agenda item number 6. So awarding of quote to Holbrook tennis court services for the pickleball courts.
So this is brought back from the last meeting. You'll remember that there was discussion regarding the warranty on the work. I've went back through and reviewed everything in the specifications for the project, talked with Public Works, talked with the attorneys, and no one sees any recourse to either the general contractor or the subcontractor that did the work. It was a limited warranty up to a year on most of the subcontractor's work. So I am confident that this work is going to, this renovation work is going to address the issues and preserve the courts. And that's my concern, that we avoid another winter of further cracking and try and get this headed off before we go through another freeze thaw cycle.
Okay.
I did receive 2 quotes. This is the low quote from Holbrook. Midwest Seal Coat also submitted a quote, and Munson Tennis declined to provide based on current workload.
Yeah. Again, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve the estimate for the 17.5.
Okay, we have a motion. Do we have a second?
I will second it.
Okay, Joan seconds. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, motion carries. All right, agenda item number 7, award a proposal to Baker Tilly to complete the needs assessment related to park development fees.
So this goes back to discussion we had in March. I had come back from our recent Parks and Recreation Conference, and Baker Tilly had done a presentation there about the updates to impact fee legislation that our fees fall under, that we charge, and that the strong requirement that we do a needs assessment was aligned with a lot of discussions we've had related to park fees, in terms of we've had a lot of discussion about what percentage of a project could be funded from park fees, distance from development projects, to ensure that we're complying with the change with the revised state law. So this needs assessment would address those issues and give us a roadmap. And I think there's a lot of interpretation in the law, and I know Matt Fleming has a really good handle on it, but even there's some gray area in terms of what are the best practices and ensuring that we're in compliance. Because I know that's everybody here's goal. It's my goal is that we spend these fees aligned with the state law and the best practices of what the law intends. So I think this is a critical step forward. And both this item and the pickleball court work are on finance and council agendas tomorrow evening for approval as well.
Okay, anybody have any thoughts on the proposal?
The other thing that I would say is I would love if there were other firms that did this work to get proposals from, but unfortunately we were not able to identify them. The ones that other communities have used recently have been bought out by Baker Tilly. So they are the experts. We do have a working relationship with Baker Tilly. They are our is it our auditing firm, Dan?
That is correct. Yep.
So I know that Bill Burns, our finance director, is very comfortable with them. They obviously know the city and we know them. So.
Okay. All right, any discussion?
Are we approving a fee here or
No, this is, we're
just an
approving,
hourly rate?
we're approving a proposal from Baker Tilly in the amount of 24,500 to do a needs assessment of our park fees.
I will make a motion that we approve the proposal from Baker Tilly. Or I'm seeing strange things on my computer. Is it me or is it?
So I have it too.
Okay,
I think it's the Baker Tilly proposal.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is just part of the agenda packet that
right.
Matt's looking through right now.
Yeah, I'm trying to find, it's always interesting on a proposal when they don't have the, yeah, here it is. So the compensation and
Yeah.
invoicing
Oh, there it is.
lump
Okay,
sum fee of 24,500.
thank you, thank you. I'll make the second on that.
Okay, so do you have a motion and we do have a second? Do you have any discussion of the motion? All right, hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the proposal, say aye.
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 And opposed? All right, and motion carries. I think that's it for the major agenda items. So Matt, you've got some updates for us.
Yeah, just briefly, the work on the Market Street Playground has started. They've made good progress. The retaining wall, well, they prepped the site along with assistance from the city staff. They have built the retaining wall, the block retaining wall. They've started some of the log work, and the carpenters are supposed to be in this week to start building the play apparatus. So there's good progress there. Last week, the playground at Meadows was removed. And this week, staff's prepping and the installation of the new playground is set to start next week. Of course, all of this is weather dependent, but it should be early June when both of those playgrounds open for fun to ensue.
Do you have any update on Baskerville?
We are, I know when we placed the order, they were looking at mid to late June for install.
Okay.
I know that they know the situation and that we want to get that work done as soon as possible. It's been really
Yeah,
good.
because I'm seeing a lot of people there, with the nicer weather the last week and a
Yeah.
half. I mean, it's been pretty busy, and yeah, I'm just thinking about, we have neighbors who have an 18 or not even 18-month-old, have just a, like about a year-old baby, and they were over there the other day, and like, I kind of felt uncomfortable telling them that, hey, by the way, that playground equipment is failed its inspections. So it's good to know.
Yep. And I will talk to staff about, well, maybe we remove that sooner than later.
Okay.
The last thing that I want to say is I want to thank both Sue and Jim for their years of service. I know Jim isn't on the call tonight, but they've been great members and will be missed. And I know there are new appointees tomorrow night in front of the council that would, if approved, would be at our first meeting in June. So, but thank you, Sue, and thank you, Jim.
Thanks,
You're
Sue.
welcome.
Thanks, Jim.
Thank you, Sue. Yeah, appreciate both you.
It's been a pleasure being on the commission. I appreciate the opportunity.
All right. I'll accept a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All right, do we have a second?
I will second.
All right, Joan, all those in favor of adjournment, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? All right, we are adjourned. Have a wonderful evening, everybody.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Everyone.